quite difficult now because people have got so many different sides about everything. But I actually do want to say something. So I know it's difficult to prove it, but a lot of these incidents I think are staged or set up. And there are basically, Stop ULEZ is a campaign group. It does actions. Just Stop Oil is a campaign group. It does actions, like, it might throw orange paint on a painting or something like that, or turn up. These are all done to make a point and cause response, okay? Even action from the government. And also, mainly, you're trying to convince other citizens. So, like, it's evidence of public concern when the public react. When you're collecting a petition, you're getting people to sign it to say that they agree with you, right? And when you do a political stunt is to get people to agree with you, like whether you should stop the, stop all these oil rigs and things like that. Now, for a very long time now, they used to think, the IRA used to do incidents, or they said it was the IRA. Can you remember, like in the 70s, they used to have like these briefcases on the motorway, and on the motorway would stop and they would get the bomb disposal. They claimed it was the IRA who did it to disrupt, but they did it to cause a point. They did it to make a point because they wanted a reaction and they wanted the public to react, or even the government, right? Now, this is the thing. Part of my investigation, I actually proved that there was illegal road signs all over England, and it's done on purpose, and they misled people, and councils were in on it, and the police were in on it, and they've been finding people, and that's the police. They're in on it. The police are in on it. Not all the police, only the road traffic police. Obviously, other police who aren't in those departments don't have anything to do with road signs or setting them up. Or enforcing them. So it was a part of the police, a section of the police, but the other parts of the police protect that section because they won't properly investigate them because they're all under the same chief at the top at the end of the day. Now, I've found out some things that are important, not exactly to do with my investigation, but generally, right? And it's to do with the subject of political action, of stunts, incidents, right? Now, this is the thing that I want everyone to wake up to, and it is really the hot topic. When you're doing Stop ULEZ, right, you're not saying that you're not Stop ULEZ, you're not trying to hide who you are. The Blade Runners, right, are kind of like anonymous, okay? We know they're doing it because there is all the cameras down, but we don't know who they are or when they did it or anything like that. All we know that is it's being done, right? You can't hide the fact it's being done because, when you go out, all these things are cut down, right? But they don't say who they are, although they've got a term like Blade Runners, right? Now, the thing is that all these Just Stop Oil groups and, Extinction Rebellion, they don't hide who they are. In fact, they want people to know who they are. They advertise it. We are Extinction Rebellion and we've got a cause, the environment or whatever it is. And even when they do these actions that are provoking a response, part of it is to be advertised and they want people to know, and they even go and sit there and wait to get arrested, even though all these prosecutions are illegal, actually, to be honest, right? But anyway, the IRA, for example, always said, where the IRA. They never didn't say, they claimed it. They wanted people to know, this is us who did it, right? They send a letter in, like that, Manchester shopping centre, there was a bomb in there, and they lay claim. Now, there are some things that happen, right, where some group or someone does something, but they don't put a claim in. They don't say it was us, but they want, like any other group, okay, they want to do an action and they want to get a response, and they want a public response, right? And that public might be shock, horror, and they might want the public to support a certain thing, like, road safety, right? Because if there's a fatal accident, everyone will say, oh, this is horrible, we want more cameras, right? Now, the thing is, similar to the Blade Runners and the IRA, right? This is the thing that most people don't understand, right? And what people need to learn and believe in, right? It's almost like believing in Santa Claus or the Christmas fairy or whatever, They used to get people to believe in it, right? But then they realised that it didn't exist, it was just your parents doing it, right? The reverse to that is that no one thinks anything does exist, it's just a coincidence, but actually then you learn that it isn't a coincidence and someone was doing it all along, which is a totally opposite to the tooth fairy, because you think there's really a tooth fairy, but it's really your parents doing it, right? So you learn that it was pretend, right, but you thought it was real. The opposite to that is that when you didn't even know there was anything, and just a random incident happened, you just thought that it happened of its own occurrence, right? When actually, it was someone who did it on purpose or staged it, right? Now, you might say, well, who? Is it just, random people having a go themselves, or is it organised? Is it like terrorism? Well, this is the thing when it comes into the police and things like that. When I was looking at those police guns, the lasers, the police laser guns, right? They had legal cases, there were lots of different lawyers, opposing these police guns, right? These using them on motorbikes, lasers, right? Police laser guns for speed detecting, right? And there was a big case where they actually got a magistrate to actually ban them, stop them being used, right? Now, straight after that case, right, there were an event on called the Bulldog Bash, which is near Banbury, funnily enough, which is near where Teletraffic UK is. Frank and Paul Garrett were these big ex-police guys who were dealing in all the laser guns, and this motorcyclist left there was like a biker event on, like a motorcycle gathering, and this guy left it, and he was on the way back to London, and a car pulled up behind him, and he got shot in the head in the back of the helmet, right? Now, that was a guy on a motorbike who got shot from behind, just like they do with the lasers when they were speed detecting them, right, with these police things, right? But they reckoned it was a gang from a car. Now, that incident gives a lot of shock and scares people, right? It frightens people. It was just after that when one of the lawyers did a really strong case. Now, my opinion is that was what we call set up, staged. I don't think it was coincidence. And I think that the press actually were involved in it. And what I found myself, this is that incident wasn't anything to do with me, but I found it through research. But the incident that did happen was once I started doing the campaign, and I actually put a newspaper advert of the actual police chief, like a joke one, put like a joke picture of the police chief in the newspaper, right, for the campaign. It was Sir Peter Fye. I actually put a picture of Sir Peter Fahey in the newspaper. Now, at the time, there weren't all these people doing all this, loads of people doing pictures of Khan and everything all over the internet and other things like that. But this is before that was sort of going on, and this was actually in the proper newspaper, the Manchester Evening News. Now, straight away, within like 24 hour or 48 hour, there was this incident in the Wirral massive incident where they were reckoning that someone stole a red pickup and then rammed a police officer over, right? Which is pretty much, you could say that he's taking a hit at Peter Fahey, the police chief, by putting a political parody of him in the newspaper, right? And then there was all this incident all over. And apparently a police officer died, this PC Phillips, right? Apparently he was rammed, run over. He was trying to put a stinger across the road. Now, my personal opinion is that wasn't a coincidence. My personal opinion was that was a staged incident put in the press to get public response, to be outraged and gather public concern, generate public concern for people, road safety, right? Particularly when the campaign is opposing speed cameras. It's a classic incident, and that copper, I mean, obviously he's got a family, that he's left behind because he died. But the thing with that incident is, it was a very crazy incident, and this person who supposedly stole the red pickup, right, got processed within 24 hours. I mean, he literally, they got him into court, and then he was convicted and went to prison within a matter of days, right? I think the whole thing is set up. Now, I don't know how it's done, because you say there's a real family with a real loss and a real, police husband who's gone. But the whole thing is orchestrated around the Madeleine McCann model. And the Madeleine McCann model is that the name in it says something. The McCanns, they can. The people who can and people who can't. If you can do it, you can do it, right? Now, this Madeleine went missing, right, and she's never been found. Now, every single, all the best police, detective, the best police in the world couldn't find her. So they're not McCanns, they're McCants. The police can't do it. So, however they've made this girl go missing is an MOT for the police, and it's an MOT which is failed. It didn't pass. It means the police cannot find her. There are things that happen that the police cannot do. Incidents. And some of them, they even turn up at these, or even involved in them. How it's done, I think that there's an art to it, and it's around, it's event management. I mean, you have event management when you do gigs and concerts, but also movie sets and films. It is event management. It is response management. It's managing response units. Who's available? Who is going on that shift? Who is going to turn up? What exactly their routine? What will they look at? What won't they look at? You've got a manual of they're trained. They'll look at this. They won't look at that. They'll take fingerprints, but they're not going to take this test or that test. It's effectively like the Olympics, right? Look at the Olympics. The Russians were caught in the Olympics and they got booted out of it for cheating because they got tested for steroids. But look at Usain Bolt. There are loads of compounds and chemicals, right, which can enhance performance of people, which are not even known of. There isn't even a test for them. And it's not just steroids. There are certain tests they're using for the Olympics, right? This test, that test, and that test, right? Now, if you've got something that answers performance which isn't tested for, then, you're not going to get caught. But then if the Russians do get caught, they're stupid enough to have done this or that with, male hormones or whatever. And this is the thing. It's not even on the radar. Because the entire Olympics itself is a setup. and the people who do the testing are who sets up the people who do the testing, right? You know, this is the thing. If you give someone a load of pH testing strips, right, which test from 9 to 10, then you got to measure, you know, what it is, and you invented the testing strips, and you've got something that's not identifiable by them. You give all the police, you know, the equipment, you know, just like you give scientists testing strips, and they can't detect it. This is how it's done, and this is when you're getting into like all these corporate companies, and when you're getting into like, you know, Tony Blair with his Fabians and so forth. The people who train the police and put them in position and give them the equipment and tell them how to do things, right? There are people who put them there and organise them, right? It's like having a kid in a playpen, you know. It's a setup. And then you've got other technologies and other methods and means which other groups and entities and people are keeping elite or exclusive. That's why it's called elite. I think a lot of, I mean, when I was doing my investigation, there were incidents going off around me and things like that. And at one point, I went past a incident, and I'm sure that it wasn't even a real person on the floor. It was just a blow-up doll that they were pumping as a wind-up, you know. And then at one point, I was going to see my grandma in hospital, and the steering rack went and so forth, and I couldn't hardly steer it. There were loads of things happening while I was doing my investigation, which Stop You Les hadn't started at that time. This is like 2013 to 2019, but I was by myself. I didn't have people with me. I didn't have people following it on the internet hardly or anything like that. When I was investigating all the illegal road signs and the use of the speed guns and everything, it was kind of like I was by myself. But there were all these things happening. And what I'm finding with the Stop You Les, I know that there are incidents every day, but some of these things are, you know, we know that there are certain gangs and so forth, but when the newspaper put out all these video clips and so forth, there's a certain signature and style to it all. Like with that cow getting run by that copper, by that police officer, right? That cow that got run over by that police officer, he didn't have to run it over. I don't know why, but the thing is, when you use the police radios and get a response, they send the radio to certain particular officers, right? Now, if you've got a male officer who's prone to be a bit of a wild police officer, a bit of a guy who kicks doors down without thinking, right? All you need to do is make a few arrangements, right? And you can have a cow in the middle of the road anyway, you know. These things can be done. All it takes is planning, and it is no different planning to Just Stop Oil, right? Right, we're going to go into the museum on Tuesday, right? We're going to take some painting, and then we're going to, throw it on the thing and glue ourselves to it, right? Roger Hallam was in a meeting, and he was planning on going and putting banners up at the motorway and climbing up the posts. And then one of the newspaper women was in there, and she reported him, and that's why Hallam's in prison now, right? But he planned it. Now, this is the thing. You can plan the Madeleine McCann thing, and you can plan it so the police are never going to find it. In fact, it might even be fun. It might even be a game to some people who are very clever to see, let's see if the police can solve this. Let's give the police an MOT, right? We're at the stage now where everyone's got a mobile phone. The government supposedly don't have access to it, but now they're saying that they do with 77th Brigade if they suspect you. It's put in place by Mark Zuckerberg and Google and so forth. We were told that it was for recreational purposes or just for contact. They can plan, if someone wants you to be, someone can ring your phone, right? And it can sound like, your wife or whatever. And she can say, I'm in hospital, come and pick me up now. I've had an incident. And you'll drive over there, right? And something could happen. Someone could crash into you on the way and you could never even get there to prove that, you know, that she was there. It could have just been someone with her voice, you know. And then someone could crash into you, like ram into you, and then you're stuck there, right? But why did you set off? Well, when he drives past the end of this road, right, crash into him. Now, by the time you get sorted out, right, you know, your phone might even, your battery might just, you know, go off on your phone. They can switch your battery off. When you get home, your wife might be there, and then, you know, you could say to her, oh, you know, were you in the hospital? Did you ring me? And then she could say, yeah. But even though she says, yeah, right, you don't actually know whether she was there or not, or what, you know, because, you know, someone could have rung her phone and got her just to quickly go to the hospital to check them out and then come back. And it depends how you question people. I've been with parents, right? Who, this is what it all comes down to. Who even knows anything? Who even knows what is going on, right? When your family go out and come back, when you have a discussion with them, right? Oh, did you go to the park? Oh, yeah, we went to the park. Did you like it? Yeah, it was nice. We saw this and that. There's about 18 words exchanged there, right? And then the next thing you're talking about your dinner, right? Now, when they go there, they can film things, so they can like make a video of it and show you it and so forth. But before that, you know, I mean, this is the thing. Another example is this protocol, right? A protocol. So when you have a certain friend and you ring them up, you usually ring them up and you go, hey, what you up to? Oh, you know, yeah, I went to the pub, had a few drinks, blah, 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 blah. You usually have that conversation about, you know, every week or maybe every 3 days, and it usually goes the same. Oh, you know, shall I meet you down at pub? Yep, same pub, same place, see you later, see you there, right? That's it, right? These protocols, the amount of words that are exchanged from the voice of the person you know is so small that you can get like John's phone to ring, right, and you know Sam's phone to ring at the same time, right, and they both pick it up. Now, one person doesn't know who rang the other person when the phone rings. Now, if you can start off if you've got the template of the conversation that they normally have, it isn't even complicated. If they get Sam to say, hey, up, you all right? And then you go, yeah, not bad. Then he goes, what you up to? You want to go down to the pub again? Then you go, yeah, okay, right? Then what you're doing is you are initiating into that protocol, right? And then you know, you could say, well, actually, I think we might go to Thingamajig instead. Do you want to go there? And you say, and then, you know, if that person's a person who's like, yeah, okay, then what? Oh, and then you go, yeah, all right. So then you've actually just changed the place that they go to, right? And then you all you have to do is the protocol with the other person. It's actually not that difficult if you know how to do it and what you're doing, and if you've got recordings of them, and you don't actually, there's actually an art to it, but people don't actually understand that it exists. This is actually how England are basically effectively controlling China and the other countries and all the wars and so forth, just through superior intelligence and having expert voiceover people and now AI and digital things, you know. I don't even know whether this recording will get to anyone or not, because I think most of these action campaigns now are controlled anyway, you know. So that incident with that cow, that was not like it wasn't random. And then, you know, making sure that the footage gets out to people and people pass it around and see it to provoke a reaction, you know. And I think that's the same with this incident, you know. Why did it take 2 years? Why did it actually take 2 whole years for this police guy to go to court? It was in, you know, I think it was 2017 when that PC Dave Phillips got hit by that guy who supposedly stole a red pickup, right? He you know, if someone runs a police officer over, they're straight in prison, right? He got he got arrested, he got put in the cells, and then he was in court like within 48 hours, and he was prosecuted, right? But yeah, if a police guy shoots someone, he gets 2 years. 2 years to think about what his plan, what he's going to say in court. 2 years. You know, the colleagues know exactly what evidence there is and what evidence is going to be given, because it is police evidence, right? He got 2 whole years to wait to have to go to prison after shooting someone, and then it was over in 3 hours, right? Yet most of these cases and complicated cases, I mean, just look at the 2 in 5. I mean, they've had about 3 or 4 different hearings so far. And look at these other cases with the sentencing, with some of the Just Stop Oil ones. Some of these Just Stop Oil cases have been waiting a long time as well. I know the courts have been getting a lot busier than they were before, but if it's that serious, he had 2 years to wait, effectively, after he killed someone. If it had been the other way around, they literally were in court and they banged up straight away. So it's disgusting. And I know that Kingsley's been sticking up for it, right? But my main gripe with it is this, right? Firstly, if you're chasing a vehicle that's potentially got someone armed in it, right? There are loads, you know, look at all those fire vehicles with a TV inside them that pulled up the other day, and all these other different equipments they've got, and all these different equipments they've got for specialist opening doors and so forth, right? If I was in a police unit that is chasing armed people in cars, right? You shoot, firstly, right? It's very, very easy to shoot the back window out and shoot a grenade into the cab, which puts tear gas out, right? That's one way to stop the vehicle and the driver. Also, you can shoot the wheels out. There's only 6 wheel nuts on, and they've all got automatic weapons, right? You know, an entire team of officers can aim at one wheel on the radios, say back left wheel, and they can actually shoot the wheel so much that it will just literally annihilate it, and you know, you can't drive without one wheel off, right? It's very difficult to drive without any tyres, but if you all concentrate firepower on one back wheel, then it'll just come off, because it's only held on by a bit of metal, and there's that many bullets shooting it off, right? Particularly wheel nuts. You can aim at the front of it. You can take the radiator out. If you shoot the water in the radiator, all the water comes out the radiator, the car's not even going to go anymore. Or if the timing belt if you shoot the timing belt out, there's just so much rather than shooting the actual person. It's so easy to stop a car if you're armed. I mean, look at them on the motorway. That lad, his car went out of control, and electric vehicle went in full speed, and he couldn't stop it. And the police had to ring the police on the phone, and they had to go on the motorway. They managed to catch up with him, and they managed to get in front of him and slow it down. But there was no evidence of the car having a malfunction. And the police didn't even take it to a police lab. He just took it to a normal garage. And that was a high-speed police chase on the motorway, and they never even proved that the vehicle was out of control. He could have just gone joyriding and lied. He could have actually just lied and had balls of steel and said, "Oh, my vehicle won't stop." And then, you know, suddenly he reckoned it did, you know, just for a thrill. There was absolutely no evidence that vehicle had actually gone out of control. None, zero, right? No actual evidence from the mechanics or the vehicle. So there's no proof. It was purely on his own statement, and he was the only witness, right? So he could have just gone for a mad joyride down the motorway and got the police to come and, you know, come and play with me, right? We don't know for sure, but they actually didn't investigate any further than that. There was no evidence, you know, and that's the thing. You know, that was actually probably more dangerous, that car being out of control on the motorway with no way to stop. That was probably more dangerous than this guy in the vehicle, because that wasn't even on an open motorway, and you can't really drive that fast in a built-up area because you've got obstacles and stuff, you know. There are so many things that you can do. There's so much equipment that they've got, like those tear gas grenades that you can shoot. You can shoot the wind. All they had to do was shoot to the left-hand side of him, shoot the back window out, and or the front one, to the side of him, right? So all the window will come straight out, and then you get a grenade gun, and then you go to movies and watch this. You shoot a grenade gun straight into the back fucking seat of the car because you hit the back of the fucking passenger seat, right? And then the grenade goes straight off and instantly fills the whole fucking cab with smoke, right? Which is gonna, either knock him out or make him pass out or make it so he can't see what he's doing. There's just so many things you can do rather than shoot him. It's just, I'm the creativity. But, but when it comes to illegal road signs, the police are master creators, that they can create all the highways, use the ultimate creativity. But this is the thing. The creativity is in the setup of it. The creativity is the fact that Bulldog Bash was set up. It was planned. They did a stunt and the media cooperate. The police have got their own media department now anyway. Press department. All these newspapers are owned by certain corporations who have got the same interests. It's a movie set. It is a movie set. And the same opposite Kingsley the other day, those electric vehicles were the same as that Luton Airport one. And that's their plan. They wanted to get all these EVs in. They can just self-destruct them now when they want remotely by Bluetooth, right? They did that at Kingsley's. And they can easily get Kingsley out of his house, walking up and down with a fire engine there. Let's get Kingsley outside, walking up and down with his fire thing on. All right, then we'll get a couple of EVs to blow up. Let's see what's there. Yeah, there's a couple in that unit over the road. Yeah, we'll get those to self-destruct. That's what happened with that Luton Airport one. But they've got them. They've manufactured and produced these and got them everywhere now. So now the terrorist potential from that is through the roof. This is the thing, and also with the electric vehicle, that's what happened with that guy going out of control. So it's just a game now. It's a movie set, and it's like cameras action, and wherever they want something to happen, they can do it. I think they had that. That was the case. It's been the case the whole way through, from the burning of Parliament. Classic example. It was the Prime Minister, the Chancellor, Sir Robert Peel, who invented the police, who had Parliament burned down because he told them to go set fire to those wooden sticks, those two cats of wooden sticks, right? And then, they locked the building up, and then people were going, just a minute, that's right, it's perfectly okay, there's nothing going wrong here. And then, the next thing, it's burned down. These people have been doing this for a very long time, and they're very, very good at it. And some people suspect them, and they know they're doing it, but they can't prove it. But it's not coincidence. And this is where we are now with Tony Blair and his Fabians, and really, that's what's happening with these wars. And Ukraine is a victim. Ukraine is a victim. There's no need for it. There's no reason for it. Putin had McDonald's. He had all the Western things there. People could go on holiday to Russia. He was participating with the world. And they didn't want Corbyn to strengthen ties with Russia. They didn't want Jeremy Corbyn to be Prime Minister, and they wanted to put NATO bases there, and instead, have wars to scare the planet, to scare the people of the planet, the civilians of the planet. We're just annihilating an entire country now. And then that's getting the people upset, so they want to send money, so they want to help them, they want to send aid. It's literally like twisting your nipple, so to hurt you, because all the people of the world are objecting to what is being done to us, through all the surveillance and tech and digital ID and everything, and people are complaining, and then they scare us, if you're going to if you're going to have protests, if you're going to have groups, if you're going to oppose it, they scare us and they blow Ukraine up. That's it, they're doing these stunts now, and I don't think they're going to be detectable because, you know, they bought up all these companies. They own them all. They own all the railway signals that malfunction. They own all the trains that are running on there, and it's the passengers who get injured. You know, this is the world we live in. I think it's been like this forever. It's just that they've got more extravagant and fancy things now. Although you can't get much more extravagant and fancy than burning Parliament down. Are the police doing it? Well, the thing is this, right? This is Kingsley's dilemma at the moment, right? Kingsley's dilemma is that, you know, it's a love-hate relationship with the police because Kingsley thinks that the police do a good job. They're all honest citizens mainly, and they want to protect us, right? But then again, they're arresting some of his friends when they haven't broke the law, this and that, right? The fact is, the government want those ULEZ cameras for surveillance. Sewall was going to give the fines back, but once the cameras were got all up and everyone had accepted them being there, they were going to be used to monitor and surveillance, right? So it's for the police. Regardless of whether we're going to get fined or not and tortured by the fines, they're for the police and surveillance, which is what Big Brother Watch are opposing. I know that all the illegal road signs were put up at the speed enforcement sites on roads that weren't even that speed limit and using particular psychologies and particular methods that are known and they understand to mislead you and put national speed limit signs when it's 50, so your eyes will see it and your mind will see it and it'll register as it'll flash your national speed limit and then you'll get caught, right? Every trick in the book. Now, that is a certain department of the police, but if other departments of the police are not going to seriously prosecute them, they prosecuted this guy, but he didn't get convicted, and they give him 2 years to relax and chill, and then it was every 3 hours, and it was all rehearsed. You know, you get a jury in, and I don't think the prosecutor was, you know, trying. You know, if it's the other way around and a police officer gets killed, you know, you're straight in there, you're straight in prison, and you're straight in there, bang, bang, bang. 48 hours, you're in prison. That's the thing, you know? And that other guy just committed suicide. Well, Claire's saying that he committed suicide in prison. She's saying that he committed suicide in prison, or it was reported that he died in prison. He's just gone in there, and he was just a protester. And now, he might have been shouting and being rowdy, but, you know, he might have had cause for kicking off. This is the thing. You know, there are some good police officers out there, but the thing with the police is this. The police are being, in a way, the police are being played like us. And I know that the police end up going to a lot of incidents where there are injuries. If you've got a job where every day of the week, the worst things that could ever possibly happen in the world, you get called to them, right? Then it's going to affect you psychologically, right? If your normal job every day is disaster, right? Then you're going to be a fanatic. You're going to literally be like some of these born-again Christians. You're going to be like, you know, these people in the town centre who are religious, these religious nutcases who are like, you know, the end is nigh, you know, and they're called fanatics, religious fanatics. And, you know, people are scared of those people when they're in the middle of the town centre. They think they're nutcases, religious nuts, right? But the police are working with really bad people all the time. That there are bad people, and really macabre accidents and things like that. And they become heavily polarised, which is why they're pushing all the speed campaigns and so forth. But I know that some of it is staged. And some of it is like when there's a successful court case or something like that, there is like a response. And when I put that newspaper advert, they do a response. They're engaged in doing actions. What I'm trying to say through all this is this, right? Extinction Rebellion have actions, it exists. Just Stop Oil have actions, it exists. The IRA had actions, it exists, right? They've got pro-police groups, right, who do actions, right? Which is to have it in the newspaper, particular ones, not just an unfortunate incident, right? They have actual planned ones, right? We're going to do an action stunt. We need to really shock the public, and it's going to be in the newspaper and so forth. Like, there's going to be a guy who's going to drive down the motorway, and then there's going to be a car with gangsters in it, and they're going to shoot him in the back of the helmet, right? This is the thing. There's, you know, now you can say, well, the normal civilians involved in it, you know, how do they get, you know, if these are actual real criminals and they really went to prison, how do they get them to do it? Well, they can get them to do it because the police have already got surveillance. What Kingsley just said, right, that, oh, you know, I don't mind if I'm under surveillance or not. The police, right, and the security services, they've got, you know, they're working drug dealers. They're working, like on Point Break, you know, I've been working these people for 3 months, right? They've got people. They've got, it's like Steven Spielberg's got 18 actors. He can ring any one of them. Who's the man for the job? Right, well, I want, you know, Spielberg's, right, well, Arnold, I want, you know, Kim Basinger and Robert De Niro on Thursday. There's a set. There's going to be a lorry pulling up there. That's it, right? And that's it. The police have got, right, who have we got? Right, you know, there's drug dealer Banksy or whatever. There's Bonzi. Those guys, we're working those with they're dealing drugs, you know, on supply. Then there's these 3 car thieves we know have got a ring. We've prosecuted them 8 times. They're still doing it, right? He's got a mobile phone. He'll be up for it, right? We'll have Johnsy. He'll nick a car in 10 seconds, right? Ring his mobile phone. Get him to, you know, be his mate, right? You know, he's an undercover cop who's working with him anyway. Oh, Kenzie, there's a red fucking car on corner. I think he's left his keys in, or it's ready. We'll do it, bang, bang. Right, go, right? Then they're like, woo, fucking Sergeant's in. It's PC Bob Oil. He's driving round Bradford all night. He doesn't even know where the fuck he's going. Oh, the police radio just rang. Hello, PC Bob Oil. Bob Hoyle to Fronton Street. There's a guy racing a red car. You know, Spielberg wouldn't know how to make a fucking movie if he was fucking born inside a fucking, you know, a fucking anal fucking probe camera. Steven Spielberg would not know how to set a fucking movie setup if he was born inside a fucking anal fucking retention fucking camera up someone's fucking asshole. He's a fucking retard. He's a, you know, these people have been watching people make movies. These people have been sat there watching how does Spielberg make a movie, how does he control his set. They've got MI5, they've got fucking, you know, he's beyond that, you know. They've got every single mobile fucking phone position of every single person in this fucking country, you know. They're doing incidents. They're staging incidents. And then when they want it to go to court, you know, they can, oh, you know, when's it booked in for court? You know, why then? With that Wirral thing, it was straight in. No messing around, you know, they were straight in, got him in the cells, bang, bang, you're in court, he busted, right, that's it. Why wasn't it the case with that if it was so serious, right? 2 years, right? 2 years to chill and go through his lines, what he's going to say in court, and he knows exactly what evidence they've got, because they were the ones who were after it, right? This is now all orchestrated and planned. And the courts, I think the courts have to go along with it, because the thing is, even if you are an honest judge what are you going to do when you're presented with evidence that, this person did this, and the police give you the evidence? Anything else than that doesn't exist. It's not even on the menu. You can't prove it. It's like with Angela Ditchfield, which is even worse, because she paints a thing on a wall, they prosecute her for criminal damage, it's not even the right charge, and then they ignore that 2 acts of law actually exist. 2 complete, full acts of English law which facilitate and legislate what she's just done. Now, if they can't even exist in a courtroom, then fuck me. Sweet Jesus. It's... There are things happening. Who is going to have the evidence that the police put a protocol in to a known car thief, tipping him off about a car to pick up, and then as soon as he gets it, then they drop in on him like wasps? That is... It doesn't exist in the courtroom. So even if you did have a suspicious judge, he's got no choice but to convict that person, because he's part of the stage show. Now, when it's Angela Ditchfield, there's no excuse. There are 2 full acts of English law that say that she can fucking do that. But they're pretending that it doesn't exist. Those 2 acts of law might as well tell you where the fuck Madeleine McCann is. You've got the Crown Prosecution Service. You might as well have 2 sheets of paper saying Madeleine McCann is at 7 Bumpton fucking Grove in fucking Worcester, right? 2 pieces of paper that are known to the government on legislation.gov. It could say Madeleine McCann is at 3 fucking Biker Grove. Why are they in the courtroom when she's getting prosecuted with the criminal damage? Because they wanted to do her. And then they took her to Crown Court even. It's orchestrated. They don't want to investigate who could have picked the mobile, who could have sent a protocol, who rang him. It's like it's kind of like the Muppets. It's like going to a Muppet show and talking to the Muppets as if no puppeteers exist, right? They're actually really, like Muppets, right? But yet there's a guy with his arm stuck under it like that, moving it with his hand inside, going, rah, 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 right? But everyone in the courtroom is just pretending that they're real Muppets, that they're actual real things, and there's no actor there moving it or anything, right? So when the police turn up and there's a car stolen, they're not going to check his mobile phone to see who rung him and got him to do it, or even if it really was his mate, or if it was someone who hacked it and made the number look like it was somewhere else. Just like they couldn't do it with the other car. And the reason is because we're living in a world of potato people, slug people, docile humans, and we've got a very... these people are inventing... These are the people... Who are these people inventing all these mobile phone programs? Zuckerberg, Nick Clegg, Sergey Brin at Google. But these people have bred Sergey Brin. They saw Sergey Brin and like, he's a little coming student, he's quite good at doing tech. Let's, send him some business deals, right? And, the military made the internet before anyone else even got it anyway. Zuckerberg and Sergey Brin are like these people's bitch boys, right? But yet they've been allowed to have all this money and power. Just like Elon Musk. And then they can take money off them in 10 seconds when, they want him to give up money for Twitter. This is the thing. We haven't got an intelligence services. We haven't got a police force. We've got nupties who go after dumb criminals who are stupid, right, who do stupid things. And then we've got, really, really, really... real complicated technical things going on, which they're told not to look into or even investigate. This is the thing, because don't have the capacity. They don't have the calibre or capacity to do it. He might as well say it doesn't exist. It's like on Point Break. He goes, they're ghosts. There's no point trying. You can't catch these people. You might as well say that they were there before. It's. I know those incidents are not coincidence. They're not coincidence. They've been planned to put in the newspaper and orchestrated. And Madeleine McCann is an example of that because it's MOT. The police have got parameters, and if the police are operating on the parameters, it's like having equipment that cannot detect things outside a certain frequency, right? Then it's not going to be there. Like the Aurora thing now. Some people could only take photos of the Aurora if they had a certain phone, right? Well, the police, right? They're not interested how that person ended up there, right? Who phoned them up or given them the tip off, right? And even if they did, it's the police are purposely being naive and uncooperative in the need to think outside the box and find out who's setting up all these things, and the police don't want to do that because they're trained. The police are told what to do, right? The police do the job. They have a commander and they're told what to do, and they've got training, right? And that is it. So it's literally like giving a kid a Mr. Potato set to play with, and that's it. They are not going to investigate their own job, right? Or if someone is messing them around in their job, because if you had police doing that, then they won't be available to do the job, right? So, this is at the level of Charles and the World Economic Forum. I think it's beyond MI5, because I think even MI5 are just in the same boat as the police. Whatever tech they've currently got, it's not enough. And I actually think that, look at the fire of London. It didn't need too much tech, did it? It just needed a few people turning a blind eye, and then some people with power who never got questioned and were basically immune from being prosecuted, and it just got passed off as an accident. The people who started the fire didn't even get prosecuted because it was the guy, the Prime Minister, who told them to do it. And then it just got out of control and it was an accident. So we're being lied to. They're lying. And just look at Angela Ditchfield. I mean, it's on paper. How can you be trained? How can the Crown Prosecution Service be trained in law to competently assess and convict a woman, right, of putting a political advert there when they prosecute it as criminal damage, when there are two complete and full acts of law that say that it's not criminal damage, it's defacement, and you can't be prosecuted, right? So, as far as I'm concerned, those two acts of law, they're actually law of England. These live on the website. These people have been to university and been selected, like Keir Starmer, to lead this. And they're actually turning the blind eye to it, ignoring it. That's corruption, professional negligence. And that is with these incidents. How can they not know that an incident was set up? Well, how can they not know that the fucking Town and Country Planning Act's there, and how can they not use it? It's there. How can they not check the car of that guy that went out of control and take it to a police lab? Why did they let him take it to a garage who said, oh, there's nothing wrong with it, right? They don't want to solve the crime, even though they've just been involved in a high-speed chase down the motorway. I mean, if you was a police officer and you'd just been through, like, the thrill of the fucking century, chasing a loose cannon car down the motorway, you would have that in fucking NASA. You would have the car fucking sent to NASA and stripped down to fucking pieces. let alone a potentially armed man in a car. You don't know whether he's armed or not. He's shooting him. Why wasn't that fucking car taken to MI5 headquarters into Q's fucking lab and stripped to fucking pieces? Right? They didn't want to. Right? And this is the same thing with Madeleine McCann. The police are not fit for purpose. They're like an action unit, right? And they know, some of them know they're being manipulated. But they're not being manipulated when they're purposely ignoring legislation. They're purposely ignoring active law because they're criminal. And they've helped the councils put illegal road signage on, which misleads people and is dangerous. And they don't really think it's that dangerous, or they wouldn't have done it. They think that it's, they don't think that it's that dangerous seriously. They think that it'll get more people from speeding and mislead them, which is what it's been doing, and that serves the purpose. The police deserve to, it doesn't matter whether you're a police officer or not in a uniform. You assess what's happened, you assess what's been done, and if they've fucking broken the law and done it wrong, then they should be prosecuted. It doesn't matter whether they've got a uniform or not. All that fucking bullshit, Salvation Army or whatever, right? And this is the thing. We are doing more serious investigations now because it's actually investigating the police themselves. They're actually purposing existence. They're perverting the course of justice. These are serious crimes that only the police can do, or lawyers, or the CPS, or the security services, or MPs. Going against the Great Charter of England, which is meant to preserve all our laws and rights. And as for that guy in that car, it proves that if you know there's likely to be a vehicle chase and you're an armed police unit, armed police response units are meant to be equipped with tear gas. And you need grenade launchers to fire that tear gas over a distance, right? Right? So, there's no excuse. It's like, the intelligence they're lacking to do that job properly, right, is the intelligence they're lacking to solve the actual crime properly in the truth of what happened when it's a fucking setup. And that's the difference. Because it just shows a lack of creativity. Yeah, someone's got some creativity because they ended up being there, and that stupid cow in the middle of the road, which I don't think that incident was, it was prearranged. It was arranged to happen,